Who is the traitor in the Rocks Pirates? In the latest chapter of the manga, Whitebeard surprisingly asked why the Marines were so quick to reach their location. This wonder led to the speculation that there's a possible traitor inside the ranks of the Rocks Pirates. So in this video, we're going to explore who could really be the traitors among them. And to start this topic, let's go to our first possible suspect. For those who don't know, the very first member of the Rocks Pirates, whose name was mentioned in the story of One Piece, was Captain John. Yes, guys, way back in Chapter 2, 133 was the first time his name was mentioned by Buggy. At that time, Buggy was looking for the possible treasure of Captain John. And coincidentally, in that same chapter, the Gloriosa also first appeared. Aside from that, it was also in this very chapter, 233, that we first saw the island that looked exactly like Hachinosu. So it's like chapter 233 itself is connecting to the possible things that will happen in the future. In other words, this is the hint in the chain of events connected to the Rocks Pirates. So what exactly is the idea of Captain John being a traitor? It's possible that he was approached by the world government to sell out his Captain Xebec in exchange for a great fortune. Our evidence here is this information from SBS Volume 49. As stated there, the two swords stuck in the body of Captain John are actually not his weapons. They are weapons of his crewmates that were stabbed into him. Yes, guys, Captain John was killed by his very own pirate crew. The reason for this is because he didn't reveal to his pirate crew the location of his hidden treasure. So based on this information, we learn that it was his very own pirate crew who killed Captain John. Isn't it possible that at some point during the God Valley incident, Xebec discovered that the traitor among them was Captain John? Could this be the reason why he killed him? Because if you look closely, guys, one of the swords stuck in the body of Captain John is very similar to the sword being used by Xebec. Another possible idea about Captain John's treachery is his very own treasure. If you remember, during the Thriller Bark arc, Luffy acquired the armband of Captain John, and during the Impel Down arc, Buggy got hold of it. Later on, it was revealed that it was actually a map leading to Captain John's treasure. So, what exactly is Captain John's treasure? Gold, money, or just jewelry? If this treasure is really just a typical treasure, we might start to wonder why Oda invested so much in this plotline. Could it be that there's a deeper reason about what this treasure really is? Isn't it possible that the treasure of Captain John is the very One Piece treasure? Because if Captain John was truly the traitor and was arranged with the five elders to sell out Xebec, do you think Captain John would agree if the only payment was money and ordinary riches? Of course not, right? So it's possible that the map placed in the armband is actually the map to the very One Piece treasure. Captain John exchanged it with the world government in return for betraying the Rocks Pirates. If that's the case, this connects to Buggy, because currently Buggy is already an emperor, and the funny thing is, among all the emperors right now, he's the only one who has not acquired even a single road poneglyph, so it makes sense if he actually has a map leading to Laugh Tale, because then the situation would be, even if he really intends to go there, actually Buggy already expressed his intention to become a pirate king. And if you remember, guys, currently Buggy still has this armband, and Oda has not brought it up again in the story. It would really be funny if it turns out Buggy reaches Laugh Tale before Luffy and Blackbeard, right? Anyway, our next suspect is Wang Zhi, or Ochoku. For those who don't know, this character, Wang Zhi, is based on a real-life pirate. That is exactly his name in real life. Originally, Wang Zhi was really of Chinese descent, but later on, it was said that he was executed as a Japanese pirate. Yes, guys, similar to the character in One Piece, this Wang Zhi also had two names, Wang Zhi as Chinese and Ochoku as Japanese. And Wang Zhi was called a race traitor. He was a traitor to his own country, China. So this fits if the real traitor in the Rocks Pirates is really Wang Zhi, since in real life he was truly a traitor. So what would Wang Zhi gain if he betrayed his group, the Rocks Pirates? The answer here is Hachinosu itself, because we learned in Chapter 1059 that after the Rocks Pirates were defeated in the God Valley incident, the one who led and claimed Hachinosu was Wang Zhi, until he was defeated by Blackbeard during the Rocky Port incident. So in a sense, it's kind of poetic if Wang Zhi was truly the traitor, because he sold out his captain Xebec in order to claim Hachinosu for himself, but later on he was defeated by Xebec's son in order to be driven out of this very island. So it's like a full circle moment for Xebec, Wang Zhi, and Blackbeard. This is if, in fact, Wang Zhi was the traitor in the Rocks Pirates. And lastly, our final suspect is the female member of the Rocks Pirates who is really suspicious, and that is Gloriosa. For me, she is the most common one that comes to mind when you think of the idea of a traitor inside the Rocks Pirates. Why? Because it's common knowledge from the last chapter that she was in love with Roger. And once the empresses of Amazon Lily fall in love, they will surely do everything for the sake of the one they truly love. We saw that Hancock fought the Marines just for Luffy. She even let Luffy enter directly inside Impel Down. So if it was for Roger, Gloriosa would also make a way to destroy Roger's greatest enemy, Xebec. Then it only makes sense that Gloriosa would betray the Rocks Pirates, right? In a sense, she wanted to impress Roger. Anyway, those are my 3 suspects on who could be the possible traitor in the Rocks Pirates. How about you? Who do you think is the traitor in the Rocks Pirates? If you also have someone in mind, comment that down in the comment section below so we can talk about it. So, that's all. Peace.